Steroid hormones and bile acids. Now, cholesterol is the biosynthetic precursor for all steroid hormones. Okay, all steroid hormones are produced from cholesterol. Now, in the process of the synthesis of steroid hormones, there is shortening of hydrocarbon chains of cholesterol, and there is hydroxylation of steroid nucleus. Okay, so the hydrocarbon chain of cholesterol are applied to shortening, and the steroid nucleus is hydroxylated, and these two processes results in the synthesis of steroid hormones. Now, the biosynthetic pathway of the steroid hormones begins with the synthesis of pregnenolone. Okay, with the synthesis of pregnenolone, the biosynthetic pathway of the steroid hormone begins. Now, this pregnenolone synthesis occurs in the mitochondria, and then it is finally transported to endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, in mitochondria there is pregnenolone synthesis, and then that pregnenolone goes into the endoplasmic reticulum. In endoplasmic reticulum, what happens is there is hydroxyl oxidation and migration of the double bond, and because of this there is formation of progesterone. In endoplasmic reticulum, the pregnenolone is subjected to hydroxyl oxidation and migration of double bond, which converts this pregnenolone into progesterone. And this progesterone then acts as a precursor for other steroid hormones. Okay, from progesterone you can synthesize cortisol or corticosterone or aldosterone or testosterone or cholesterol. Okay, these all are being synthesized. Okay, so it was not cholesterol, it was estradiol. Okay, so these steroid hormones, okay, cortisol, corticosterone, aldosterone, testosterone, estradiol, these other steroid hormones are synthesized from progesterone. Okay, it acts as a precursor for all these steroid hormones. Let's read about the classes of steroid hormones and their roles. There are 5 major classes of these steroid hormones. Now, the first class of the steroid hormone is progestins, which is also known as progesterones. Okay, these progestins regulate events during pregnancy, and these progestins act as precursor for all other steroid hormones. Okay, so the event during pregnancy is regulated by progestins. Now, the second class of this steroid hormone is glucocorticoids. This glucocorticoids is also known as cortisol or corticosterone. They are the examples of these glucocorticoids. Now, this glucocorticoids promotes gluconeogenesis, that is the formation of glucose from non-precursor substances. Non-carbohydrate substances is being promoted by glucocorticoids, and the pharmacological doses of these glucocorticoids suppresses the inflammation reaction. If the inflammation is have to be suppressed, then that patient is given a pharmacological doses of glucocorticoids. The third class of steroid hormones is mineral corticoids. The example of mineral corticoids is aldosterone, and they regulate ion balance by promoting reabsorption of potassium, sodium, chloride, bicarbonate ions in the kidney. Okay, so this mineralocorticoids promote reabsorption of these ions in kidney, and that is how they regulate the ion balance. Now the fourth class of the steroid are the androgens, and the example of androgens is androstenedione and testosterone. Okay, these are the two examples of androgens, and these androgens promote male sexual development and maintain male sex characters. So the male sexual development and male sex characters are being promoted and maintained by androgens, which are the fourth class of the steroids. The fifth class of the steroid hormones are the estrogens. Okay, estrogens, example of estrogens is estrone or estradiol. Estrogens are female sex hormone which support female characters. So androgens support male characters, and this estrogen supports female characters. Now let's see the biosynthetic routes from cholesterol to steroid hormones. Okay, from this cholesterol, how the steroid hormones are being synthesized. What are the routes for that? So first, the cholesterol is converted into pregnenolone. Now this step, that is conversion of cholesterol into pregnenolone, is a rate limiting step in the steroid hormone biosynthesis. And this step, that is the conversion of cholesterol into pregnenolone, occurs in the mitochondria, and the enzyme desmolase catalyzes this step. Okay, desmolase. Now this pregnenolone acts as the precursor for all steroid hormones. Okay, then this pregnenolone is converted into progesterone, and then this progesterone is converted into corticosterone, cortisol, testosterone. Okay, all of these are the steroid hormones. Okay, progesterone is also a steroid hormone, but it can be converted into other steroid hormones such as corticosterone, cortisol, and testosterone. And then this corticosterone can be converted into aldosterone, which is another steroid hormone. And then this testosterone can be converted into another steroid hormone, which is estradiol, which is also known as estrogen. Okay, so this is the biosynthetic routes from cholesterol to various steroid hormones. Okay, these all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, these are all the steroid hormones, and this pregnenolone is just a precursor for all these steroid hormones. Bile acid. Now the bile acids are steroid derivatives. Okay, you take steroid and you convert it into the bile acid. Now this bile acid are synthesized in the liver by metabolism of cholesterol. You metabolize cholesterol in the liver, and that somehow produces bile acids. And then these bile acids are stored in the gallbladder. So in liver they are synthesized, and in gallbladder they are stored. Now in human bile, 4 bile acids are present. Which are those 4 bile acids? They are cholic acid, deoxycholic acid, then canodioxycholic acid. Okay, it's canodioxycholic acid. Then this lithocholic acid. Okay, so these are the 4 bile acids which are present in the human bile. Now the most abundant bile acids in humans are these two, cholic acid and cannodeoxycholic acid. These two are the most abundant bile acids present in humans. Now this cholic acid is conjugated with amino acid such as glycine and taurin, and this conjugation of this cholic acid with this amino acid forms glycocolate and taurocolate. Okay, when cholic acid conjugates with glycine, it forms glycocolate, and when this cholic acid conjugate with taurin, taurocolate is formed. Okay, these two compounds are formed respectively. Now these bile salts are the derivatives of bile acids, and these bile salts carry out emulsification of the dietary lipids in the intestine, and these bile salts that's why promote fat digestion and fat absorption. Okay, bile salts promote fat digestion and fat absorption. Now this emulsification is possible. Okay, bile salt is able to emulsify the lipids because of the amphipathic nature of the bile salts. Okay, so bile salts have amphipathic nature, and that is the reason why it is able to emulsify lipids. Now there is an efficient recycling system, okay, of the bile salts, which allows the bile salts to re-enter the bloodstream, and through bloodstream these bile salts return to liver, and in liver these bile salts are reused several times each day. So it is possible, and it is possible to reuse bile salts, and that is done by this efficient recycling system of the bile salts. Now very small amount of bile salt normally escapes this recycling system. Okay, so the recycling system is very efficient, and whatever the amount of bile salts escapes the recycling system is the body's only route by which for the cholesterol excretion. Okay, now this small amount of bile salts that is escaping the recycling system, that small amount is the only way by which we can do cholesterol excretion.